Good morning, folks. It's 11:05 a.m. on the 15th day, 10th month, 2021. And I'm having another look around. I'm looking very specifically in the Devil's Tower area, something I've always believed to be a giant tree stump. Notice I use the term used to believe. As more of my mapping continues along the lines of thinking of insectoids, things that tunnel towards and build structures towards their food and carry it in like ants do and termites do on a grand scale, a really grand scale. So I'm going to continue the bird watch. I'm going to go a little bird watching today. Straight off, I see one here with its crown piece. There's certain types of bird things I'm seeing and certain types of giant heads as well. And as I come in here, this forest has grown along the lines of a big bird wing structure out here. And the ants ate the body out through here in these tunnels through here. And I'm going to continue looking at this Devil's Tower area because it kind of was mind blowed me this morning when I thought to have a look at it. And I did. I had a look at it. And here's the giant bird that is of Devil's Tower. And it's not small. You got the head of the bird up here. Beak structure down in here toward the body. And as I flip it, you'll see another bird. I call it big head tower because it is. It's a big head. It's a piece of the skull. I'm wondering if it's the jaw tendon for the beak. So now I'll show you the big bird. Right, and it is big. Right, it comes out here. Here's the crown that comes off the top of its head. This is big. Its beak structure would have come out through here. Well eroded. But traces of it, the boniness of its beak is still here. Neck structure coming down through here. Remember, I keep telling you, they lay them one on top of the other. Get you a bunch of socks and laundry. You sit it next to you and start piling one piece on top of the other and imagine each one of them is a different thing that is getting consumed over time, one on top of the other. You'll see what I'm talking about as far as one on top of the other. Because they're all over here. So I'm really believing this is a piece of a part of his jaw structure, or it was something used like a spear to kill it. I bring up all sorts of things, but there's definitely that crown piece that goes on the top of its head. This is amazing me, actually, some of what I'm seeing here. So I'm going to continue zipping around this area because I decided to have a live look, which means I just go and look now in front of you. So I looked at this entire area. I had a great big old look because there's a lot of ant activity here when I see these tunnelings towards food sources. I will look. What's the remains of what's left? Do I see the shape of a bird? That one's not an obvious shape. Do I see any heads? Because, you know, giants existed. And if I do, does it have a beak? Does it have a crown? Like that there. Erosion and ant hills. And the mud that comes from their construction technique smoothed out over time with rains and erosion. This looks like a really big thing. Like a head. Big structure here. That could be a top of a big wing structure. This could be one of the hominids. Humanoid. That with something else mixed in it. Hominid, insectoid. These are the terms I'm going to be using. This is the remnants of a head and a face. There's a piece of the nose. This was not small. And the ants dined in my imaginarium. And to use those words, imaginarium here, folks. This whole area is filled with fossils. Rivers also often, like I keep saying, if something's harder, the water will go around it through the softer material, and very often does a reveal. Things grow differently on top of the giant skulls and giants themselves, and often revealed to us Now that could just be a clearing somebody went out in my imaginarium. This is not a bird head. This is just somebody has a clearing and it just looks like that. Right, but your imaginarium might say different. And as I go into the hills, you'll start to see more and more bird heads. There's one here. Hope this is showing up nice and clear. Hidden in the hills. And I look at the topography, because down here you'll see meters. So I can see, is this a raised up? Is it a depression? I'll go in and look. That goes downhill. What did they eat here? Is that a flying cone head? Is that a beak going up and down in here? My imaginarium clearly says there's a pointy skull here. Is it an insect? That actually goes, it dips in slightly. It's not a huge raise in elevation there. It only goes down about a meter into that dip, but I'd say that's a skull. I'm gonna even drop a pin. Why not? You guys get to see me do live looks when I do. I'm gonna just pull this one, cone head. Having a live look around here at Devil's Tower area. Now, so many of us, myself included, was convinced this was a tree stump. I am no longer convinced this is a tree stump. And I'll show you again. This is Devil's Tower area here. So all the signs of ant activity here, all this stripings and actually in the outline of a skull. We are not alone in this universe, you know. And then on top of that, we have a bird. One on top of the other. Did this come down to eat that? Was this riding that, got attacked, fell? I don't know. My imaginarium could write a great story about this bird here. You almost see what looks like the remnants of claws in his tail structure. That's like one of those looking insects that you've seen in Ender's Game at the end, that flying thing that had that egg. That's kind of what I see on some of these shapes. And Hollywood, I think, sometimes tells us stuff. I'll just mark that as an insectoid. Are you curious how big it is? I am. So I'm going to show you. And I hope you're enjoying my Imaginarium tour. I just say it ended there. They're a third of a mile long. I'd like to see that sucker coming over. And that's a small one. They are all over here, this fossils. This lake shape was curious. Oh, it's not. That's a shadow. Oh, that's the tower itself. Yeah, excuse me. I thought it was a lake. It's not perfectly round, is it? Like you would think. This is kind of the top of it on the CGI looking thing here. It's got a very interesting shape to it. In case you wanted to see it. Maybe we have some other years worth of imagery to look at. There's another image of it. And I still see on this image, it's almost one of those Shinto looking heads. Like this one I have marked over here. I have a Shinto head marked. I've seen it this morning, right here. Look at what the Shinto priests wear on their heads. It's black, goes up, flat, and it always has a peak that's very distinct, but it's straight. The liverbird one has a curved crown. There's a dodo looking like one, that its beak is different, and it has triangle pointed tops. I'm seeing different species of flying birds and different type of insectoids, and I am seeing them on Mars. So that'll be a whole nother show where I'll zip between the two and let you see comparisons. Amazing what's going on. Done and inside here, they've feasted on things that came down and ate that big bird. It's kind of what I think. That's what logic dictates. When you're thinking about something so illogical in our imaginariums, let's call it that. If we call them our imaginariums, then maybe people won't think we're like a total tinfoil hat wearing. Now I'm just looking at this shape here, see if I can pick anything up. So smoothed out. Yeah, actually, the contours here show the head of a bird and a neck coming down toward what would end up being a wing structure. So I have a bird here that's very faint. See if we can pick this up on any other satellite image. Sometimes it'll show better on a different year. It's still there. It raises up about a meter or so from here to here as I'm taking my cursor across it. Down, up. Yeah, that's something there. It's very faint, though. That must have been a long time ago. Where do they go? I often ask that one because I'm very aware that ants will very often take their carcasses bound below ground. If they chomp them up and turn them into a building material, I don't know. All I know is they do have a habit of taking them underground. Some of them make great big long fields of tubes and then make holes in them and come lay their eggs in them, and then things come out of them like a mud daubers. And I'm just having a live look around now. But I'm pronouncing Devil's Tower itself. So the Shinto head look is give me a moment, I'm gonna find it. I think I was aimed northwest. I have a habit of whistling. I hope it isn't blowing y'all out. Yeah, the Shinto head. Well, look at that bird right there. Looking for one, he sees the other. Bird head and neck right there. Oh, well, if I don't see that other one, I can live with it. It's going to bother me forever. You know what? No, it's a better thing to do sometimes when you, oh yeah, here it is. The crown piece coming up. Back wing structure, and I believe they flew. And inside them, something came down here and got eaten. Big bird. And the rivers followed the course of the softer material around the framework of this bird. I must have had a really hard crystalline form, and their wing shape must have had levitation properties. This just astounds me that anything could flap and stay in the air that's that big. That's where the sciencey imaginarium me goes Alberty on a topic that, well, you know, Albert Einstein, he made a lot of presumptions. Thing called a constant, which you can't prove and you put in a mathematical formula, is about as provable as this. Looks like I got another bird head here. This legendary firebird came from around this area that they talked about. Was the firebird really heated and malleable? There's another bird here. I'm going to mark that one. Got a bird. Isn't that pretty? In your imaginarium. Welcome to Devil's Tower area, which I am now convinced is ant activity or termites. They're all the same type. Insectoid activity and birds being dead. That's a pretty bird. So yeah, I hope you're enjoying my imaginarium tour today. And how big is this? Gosh, if that was like its feathers trailing behind them, this is like an imaginarium dream here. How big is it? From there to here. Let's say he's a little over half a mile long. The bird, with the bird's the word, when in the bird world, man. Bird and ant world. And what did it feast on? Now, why was it there? It definitely got eaten, and not a whole bunch of stuff got eaten otherwise from here because the ant tunnels never go out. They're not telling me to look there. The ant tunnels say, look here. We eating something here. Things meeting. So there should be some criteria. What's been eaten here? In this area here. There's a lot of ant activity going towards an object here. And if you zoom out, You kind of got a head shape and a curl here, wing-like structure, in a place where a stinger would have been. All over here. The bees are hard to find. They must have been fully tasty and they got consumed, but this could be a bee. I don't think it's a giant shrimp. Bubba. All right, what we got here now? I'm just having a look around. It's kind of hard to see with this terrain. Let's see if we get another year's image. Is that still there? Yeah. Uh-huh. Okay, that structure's still there. What else was it eating? Because there's a lot of activity here. Something big was eaten here in this valley. Something right in here. Come on, show me with it. No trees. Or different type of years. Yeah, oh yeah, definitely. Definitely a bird head through here. Yep. Okay, there's bird there. So that kind of shows you how something comes down and eats something. And if there's nothing more for it to eat, the mounds never continue. Some of these fields of mounds are 1,000 miles across out there in the Sahara Desert, where there was plenty of things for them to eat and plenty of them to eat it, and plenty of earth to use for construction. Who knows? The sands of the desert might just be the blowed down remains of some really huge anthilly things that just over time. I used to think it's where they processed the giant trees, but I can't find one that I can't see as insectoid activity anymore when I went through my map. So this is me redefining my own self from my own beliefs to what I'm seeing. Realize the truth. The real lies are up to us to tell. And it ain't a real lie, no such thing. It's either truth or it ain't. That's an interesting shadow pattern there. Like a big bee head with antennae. See it? Very hard to spot the bees. It's not often that I come across where the mountain is actually growing into the shape of them, because things grow different underneath them. The minerals would be different, and the soil composition would be different. The hardnesses would be different. Viva la difference. This is how my imaginarium's working. I'm going to be bold on this one, because it kind of looks like a bee to me. So I'm going to write down bee. Doesn't look like a live bird like this shape does here, with the eye, the hook, and that. This area is loaded with things that grew in bird shapes. Does the clearing always occur in the eye? Why? Coincidences, how many of them before they become something that bears investigation? A lot of things in life bear investigation. How many shapes of heads with that spike coming off the top do we need to see before something gets proper investigation? Or is there no funding for this? I know there's no funding for this because I don't get none. I want a better computer with a processor so I could put 5 or 6 screens up and show you at once. But I'm happy I can show you what I can. What am I going to call this one? Really, what else can I call you? And hi, folks. I'm Rob D. Yeah, y'all know me a lot for my weather work and other activism, but I love my imaginarium. And I want you to unlock your imaginariums too. That's why, when I'm in a big area, I don't always point out every obvious thing I see. I want you to go, hey, Rob, you missed this one over here. Hey, Rob, you missed that one over there. I think I'm going to make a channel just for this type of work on a network where you guys can comment. Unless I set this up for you to prove your age on YouTube, it won't let you comment. Some child safety laws they came through to keep us from conversating, because they know most of us are very reluctant to want to give our information out. It's kind of a Shinto looking head here. Look up Shinto priest in the head where they use. Look up the Tibetan monks headgear, and you'll see some of the shapes of the heads that we're seeing in the fossils. Because I'm not the only one that's looking at this now. A lot of people actually have become interested in my point of view on this. the insect world. It seems quite valid. There's a lot of ant activity we'll be showing in here. And I'm only in this one area, and this is the only area I'm going to cover today. And this is me having a live look. Oh, wow. I like a couple of heads here. Is there a mine here? Mines reveal a lot. Look at your local mines on your map and see if you see any bird heads. Like this one here. Is this a mine? No, look. There's a bird head here. There's a bird head here. That's a field. Somebody farming. Somebody farming their bird heads. It's pretty cool, huh? 1, 2, 3 heads in this person's farm here. He has probably no idea. Yeah, what a beautiful world. It's got a little river running through his back garden. Wow, what a life, huh? Wonderful. May those waters be blessed and pure for the bird. I think this is so cool, man. It redefined everything I thought about what I was seeing on maps. What did it was me looking at cloud pictures of the desert. I went, whoa. And then I got Roger Spur's work came up under my eyes, which got my imaginarium going a bit more. But he made bold claims that I pretty much debunked. Electron microscope is not a little black microscope picture. Start there. Anyways, what a shame. But I'm going to continue looking at this. This is curious. This is a curiosity. So you'd have to look at what did they eat? They left that behind. But did they eat something out of the head here? Is it that Shinto priest look? They ate good. And inside here, what do you see? Does that look like a nose and another Shinto priest looking head? Yes, so that type of thing was here. Is there a bird here? Yes, there is. It's not really giving me a whole lot of different images of this area, but it is still there. Okay, this is kind of cool. My Imaginarium does that, and this head is much more pronounced in that image. So some more erosion must have occurred. It's like he's having a fag, you know, cigarette, England word. How cool is this? I'm grinning because it's blowed my mind. Devil's Tower is a bird. This will look like something landing here. Wingy structure or somebody with their arms up. I give up, man. Don't take me in. What you gonna do when they come for you? Have fun with your imaginary. If you ain't grinning every day over something, why are you here? You here to be a misery? Walk down and be the sad face on the sidewalk everybody sees, to bent on making everybody's day bad. That's a very interesting feature. Get any more details out of this? I'll look at things from all angles. Get a little more reveal here. Perspective is everything. Still there. Pointy head. You know what? Sometimes you just put down a pin and you just go, I ain't telling you that this is the bone of a freaking anything. I'm just saying, hey, man, look at this. This is a structure left behind by a world that's no longer happening like this. And whatever fell on the ground got eaten up by the insectoids, and these things just lived on the piles of everything that came before. It's a mind blow to me. Absolute mind blow. Bird head. This whole area is just a field of skulls. Just in time for Halloween-y. Was a lot of ant activity going down toward what we would call this valley. So what was eaten here? the shape going to reveal anything? There's been a hellacious erosion through here. They do get very dramatic snows, and the melt-offs can be very sudden runoff. So what do we see here? I'm very curious if my imaginarium is picking up any. And it's not. Ah, there we go. The shape of that river is revealing a beak. It probably wants another cracker over here, the eyeball area. Takes a while to see them once you get going. You see the one on top of the other, one next to the other. And folks, our mountains are giant birds, giants. Big, big. Okay, there you are. Head here, curved down. An appendage to the endage. How big is that one? You see the look on my face sometimes when I see some of this stuff? It just blows my mind. Yeah, there's the beak area here. Again, I'm looking down here. In other words, it says Google on Google Earth. It gives me there's a lot on top of each other here. Our amazing planet. I'm not really convinced that's a beak structure. Could just be leftover ant activity. The head's up here. Squared off. Back. Comes on down. Comes through here. There's another one here. So we got two. This one's in this direction here. Bird head here. Bird head here. Probably wanting a cracker over here. And it's got the spike here like a liver bird would have. But the beak structure isn't the same. So how it eroded and how the farmer tilled this land will have a lot to do with what's left of some of these things. Yeah, this is Devil's Tower. But I'm going to wrap this up, try to keep this tour a bit short. If you care to support my work, you can support it at paypal.me/Robert Deutsch, ROBERTDEUTSCH. And if you can't afford to support my work, that's okay too. Support your imaginarium and then I'm happy. Okay? When you see a big bird, know the bird is the word. And hey, keep your imaginarium alive. And this is Devil's Tower area. And Devil's Tower is a big bird. Polly wants a cracker. Big love. Peace.